I mean, this paint needs a lot of help. What do we do?
Non-scuffed dish pads. Yes, these look intimidating. They're not. They don't scratch. Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. This is not a matte paint video, but this is definitely a car with matte paint. We don't know what's happened to it. It's been on a dealer's lot for a little while. People look at it and walk away. They don't buy it. It's supposed to be glossy white. There's a bit of gloss in a few places, but not really.
There's no shine. It looks like matte paint.
Yeah,
It's just flatter than, I mean, it needs so much help, Ivan.
Right. The first help we're gonna give it is a good wash and decontamination, but we're gonna do the decontamination a way you may have never seen before. Let's get at it, Nick.
Where do we start?
We start by washing the vehicle. That's the first thing. We're gonna be doing a rinseless wash on this. That way you'll see just how good rinseless is. And at the same time, it's rather humid today. We want to control the amount of water we're using. So first thing, just get a rinseless wash everywhere on the surface. You've got your sprayer on that side, Nick. Now this vehicle just has a bit of dust on it actually, and of course all that white chalky paint, but we don't need, in this case, to do a foam, rinse foam, or chemical, rinse chemical. And honestly, I'm not too concerned about marring the paint. It can't get worse than this. The dealership has done their detail on it. Their detailing department has done a great job on the interior. The engine is spotless. The tires are clean, the wheels are clean. The paint is dull. That's why they brought it to us. Next, the rinseless wash, the contact wash. We don't need to rinse this off. Like I said, it just had a bit of dust on it. And there are days when you're washing your car with rinseless, but that's all you need to do. And we can see that little bit of dust and dirt in the lines here. If I take my sponge, flip it over, and actually try to absorb more of the liquid off the surface, which is what the sponge should be doing, but this is a very hydrophilic surface. We won't see any beading here. But you see in that second pass, I've brought up more of the dirt, and now we have a clean liquid left on the surface. So we just keep going around the vehicle till it's all nice and clean. And it's rare you see us showing you the black side, but see all the white chalk we're getting off the car just with the rinseless wash? Those of you that came here to see us foam the car, you will see us foam the car shortly. Hold on. Now on the side of the panel here, this one panel actually is beading water a little bit, and you can see in the beads the dust. So what we want to do when we see that is just lightly go over the panel with the other side of the sponge, taking the dirt and dust off the panel and transferring it into our bucket. But when we pull the sponge out of the bucket, the sponge is clean. You can see the chalkiness in the drops of water coming off the roof. That's just how chalky this paint is.
Where does that come from?
That comes from the paint oxidizing. So this is a single stage white paint. And lower cost cars, white paint can still be single stage. This car isn't that old. What year is it, Nick?
Good question. 2011.
2011. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's pretty old.
Yeah, it's a 14-year-old car. To me, that's not an old car. Okay. But anyways. Now, the next step you normally see us do in our process is to decontaminate with the decontamination towel and iron remover. And that's actually what we're going to do. So let's do that next, because we know there's a lot of iron particles on this vehicle. And to show you just how that is, come to the back of the car. So I'm going to spray on. I've got 2 bottles here because I want to be a little more efficient. And immediately you see wherever there's rust, it turning red. Now, a lot of detailers really like to see this. This is amazing. It's turning red. This is great. You're actually not removing the iron particles from the surface. We're gonna let this sit. We're gonna do the rest of the car. We'll come back to this and we'll show you another little demonstration. This will help remove a bit of that oxidation. Definitely will be removing the iron particles that are embedded in the paint. And wow, you can feel it forcing against the towel.
Yeah, it's doing some, it looks like it's almost, I mean, it's deep cleaning the paint.
Yeah.
It just feels like what didn't come off in the wash seems to be getting shaved off now.
Right. Quad fold towel, we fold it to new faces and move on to the next panel. And don't forget to decontaminate your windows. Even the windows feel scratchy. Someone put new wiper blades on this. See these little white things? Well, they're for the shipping of the wiper blades. So if you can take it off the end of the wiper blade there, Nick.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Those go in the garbage. So even the windshield is feeling a little scratchy?
Yeah. Feeling pretty rough under the towel. This is fascinating.
Now here, these are going to bleed red, and we'll actually allow them to do that a little bit.
I couldn't even move the towel on here.
No.
It's like gripping in.
Yeah. After 4 panels, dunk the decontamination towel and start over again. New panel, new product, off we go.
Why didn't we use a hose, Ivan?
We could have, but we will be using a hose right after this. Take the iron remover off the surface. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it's very humid in here today. We want to cut our humidity as much as possible. One way of doing that is to use less water. And you know, this is something you can do if you don't have a pressure washer, but you will need a hose. Oh, you can just hear it. So what we have here is we've seen that the iron remover is doing that characteristic, what people like to say is bleeding. And every one of the leading edges of these is a little dot of brake dust. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. Nick and I will do the bumper, we'll rinse this off, and that's what I want to show you afterwards. When we rinse this off, it'll look like there's no contamination left on this panel. So far, so good. Now on this side, I'm just gonna spray the product on. Immediately, we have reaction. On this side, one spray on the towel, one spray on the panel. Going to decontaminate like we normally do. While I'm there, even though we'd put iron remover on this before, we still see all these red tracers again, all over the place. Let me get around this emblem too while I'm here. Now on this side, we did the decontamination towel, and we see a few little red tracers, but not as many. Let me rinse it off, we'll dry it, and then we'll get it wet one more time.
So what's next?
give it a quick dry.
This is the towel I was holding. I don't know if it's probably not our best drying towel, Evan.
No, but it's close enough. We don't need it to be perfectly dry. A hydrophilic surface like this is quite hard to dry anyways. Next. We'll let that sit for a few seconds and you'll see that the side that we use the decontamination towel on will have a lot less of the red tracers than the other side. Of course, where the paint is peeled off, we're always going to get that red tracing, so that one we can't avoid. So again, this is the third application, we still have red tracers coming out of the paint. And on this side, we have a few, but they're a lot less than on the other side because we actually removed the iron that was causing the contamination, and now we're just dealing with the rust stain. But this vehicle is so matte, is so contaminated, the paint is not a happy paint. Next step will be making the paint happy. The next step is where, as a professional detailer, I'm going to save you a lot of time. We're not going to polish this paint quite yet. A lot of detailers, once they've done this, they're either going to think two separate things. One, I need to wet sand it to get rid of the oxidation, or I need to just start compounding. We're going to save you the compounding step by doing one last little decontamination step, and that is with these non-scuff dish pads. Yes, these look intimidating. They're not. They don't scratch. The name says non-scuff for a reason. And with our friend All Clean, it's going to break down that oxidation, take it off the paint, and we might actually get something close to glossy.
So a brand new Porsche comes in. Am I using a sponge on the paint?
A brand new Porsche, well, actually you'd use a legacy sponge for sure, but this type of sponge, a brand new car is not going to have oxidation like this.
Right. So when do I use this, Ivan?
When the paint is matte, and it shouldn't be matte, when it's oxidized. You saw what sort of the milky haze we're getting just from washing off the roof. When it's chalky, that is when you use this technique.
That's pretty obvious. That's not like a nuance. I've been detailing for 20 years, so I knew I needed to do this. We literally got our sponge black, which I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Super obvious. You might see chalky gel coat on a boat.
Yeah. On a boat, RVs, side-by-sides.
This is not every detail.
No, this isn't every detail. This is an exception to the rule, but we like, when we get a vehicle that we can do this, we like to show you what the exceptions to the rules are. Now, we take All Clean, diluted 15:1. We spray it on the surface, and then we agitate it using this. Now, yours was already damp, Nick. I'm gonna dampen mine in the Rinseless wash bucket. Rinse it out so it's not wet, because we want the All Clean to do the job, not the Rinseless. And then we agitate. No pressure. Now, if this vehicle were, we'll say red, we would get, all this foam would actually be red by now.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because it's actively removing the oxidation. So chemically we're removing it, and mechanically using the sponge. And just like the decontamination towel, when it starts feeling smooth, that's when we stop. And I can actually see some gloss through the foam. Let me just get a utility towel and wipe it off. You can see the chalk that I picked up on the towel, and we have an almost clean surface. While I'm here, I'm actually going to do the headlights as well. They had a bit of yellowing on them. This will help break down that yellow. Now, I was just showing this here, but in reality, I want to leave it on the paint as long as I can.
How come?
Because I want that All Clean to be doing its job even longer.
How often are you dunking the sponge in the bucket?
After every panel.
Okay.
just in case.
Same as the legacy sponge after 2 sides of the sponge.
Right, same as the decontamination towel. Once you've used all 4 sides of the decontamination towel, you dunk it. This, unfortunately, we only have 1 side, so we have to dunk after every panel. On average, you'll use about 2 sponges per car. They do wear out. There you go, Nick. Your
Glass too, or just paint?
the paint, we can do the glass as well.
Are you just foaming on right away before you scrub, or can I just do the whole side?
No, we don't want it to dry on the surface. Now the bumpers, they actually appear to be clear coated because they're not chalky at all, but we're just gonna go over them because they have a lot of bug residue on them and a lot of dirt. And the All Clean helps with that considerably. Now, just as a reminder, to show you the before and after, because people like to see before and afters, the rear passenger door I'm not gonna touch.
One thing worth noting about this process, we need to polish at the end, right?
Oh, definitely.
This isn't just something you do without a polisher.
No. Now this will give an almost polished look to the paint, despite what a lot of people are probably typing in the comments right now. No, we're not scratching the paint this way. We've taken the dirt off the paint, we've taken the grit, we've decontaminated with a towel. So now what we're left with is that oxidation. So we're removing the oxidation safely without the aggression of a polisher. And if you do this with a polisher, it's amazing how quickly and how fast you're gonna burn through pads. Ooh, on the roof you can really.
Yeah, the roof and the hood just feel like they took the brunt of this. I don't know why, but.
Well, they're facing the sun more than the sides are.
Well, I know why now. Would you ever just do the hood and the roof then?
If that's the only part that's chalky, yes. Now this side was very chalky, your side was a little less. So maybe they parked always in one direction, or more often in one direction. And this is the important, if you have single stage paint, to maintain it. It doesn't have to go chalky. It's not a given that, oh, I've got single stage paint, it's gonna go chalky. No, it's just part of it. If you maintain it, it's not gonna go chalky.
How do you know if you have single stage paint?
If it goes chalky. Basically, if you have a car newer than the 1990, there is a good chance it has base coat, clear coat, unless it's white, red, or black. And you can find out from the manufacturer if they put single stage or not on it. Toyotas, Nissans, their white was, even up to today, some of them are still single stage paint, depending on the model and the factory that it was done in. And Ferrari actually resisted going to base coat, clear coat for many years on the red, because a red that is single stage actually is a nice brighter red when it's new and maintained. If you're doing trim, restore, and protect, this is also a good step, as I'm doing here on the trim, just to prep trim for trim, restore, and protect. From here, time to rinse this all off. See if we get any semblance of the beginning of gloss. You can see in the water the chalk that we took off the vehicle. So it's not just the suds, but the water is actually chalky. Since we are going to be polishing this, I'm going to be applying a bit of water spot remover. That always helps, and it's going to help break down more of this oxidation that's on the surface.
Why are we using water spot remover? I mean, we've already deconned with all these layers of products and sponges, and I mean, it's like, is this overkill or is this necessary?
Not overkill, not 100% necessary. Yes, it's gonna make our job easier. The more decontamination steps we do before we start polishing, the easier it's gonna be to polish. And we should see a bit of that chalkiness come off again.
So we're just trying to make sure we're doing all the steps for the effective. I flip the towel. It's detail or habit. Why don't we flip the towel with water spot remover?
It's a habit we all have.
But why don't we flip the towel?
Because we want the water spot remover to be spread everywhere, and we're not trying to absorb it off the surface. And with a vehicle like this, once it starts getting matte, most people give up on it. And then they stop washing it. They stop really caring because this car just looks bad no matter what I do. And we're still getting white chalk off of the car on this step as well. Actually, no, we're not. Never mind. Scratch that.
It felt rough up there, but I don't see
Yeah, no, there's no chalkiness. Okay. Those that are regular subscribers to the channel, you know what I'm about to say here. Those that aren't subscribed, please subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them down below. We answer every one of them. But when we're done with this towel, we don't put it back in our wash bucket. We rinse it out with clear water because of the lactic acid. So we don't want to contaminate our wash media. For us, since we're doing so many cars here, we have a bucket dedicated to these towels. The final rinse. If you want to make detailing more fun, when you're done with the tool, put it away. That way at the end of the detail, you're not like, oh, I've got to put all this stuff away. When you're done using it, put it away. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Now, Nick, probably one of the most difficult cars to dry we've done in a long time. Drying blanket, though, is up to the task.
What are your thoughts as we're drying this? What are you noticing?
It's a lot smoother than it was, obviously.
No water beading really to speak of on this roof at least.
No.
We've pretty much killed all hydrophobics, haven't we?
Well, the hydrophobics weren't really there to begin with. On the sides, there's a little bit,
okay,
because the paint wasn't as matte and finished as on the roof. But even though we're going over it with a towel, it's still damp because that surface is very hydrophilic, meaning that it's holding on to water. At this point, we actually have a bit of reflection back in the paint. I can actually see our logo on the wall reflecting off the roof. Before, it was just white, a sea of white, nothing else. On the hood, same thing. We have a bit of reflection. I can actually see the overhead lights. We've improved the paint dramatically, and we're not gonna load our pads up with spent or oxidized paint. We've removed that oxidation. We don't need to wet sand. We don't need to do 3 steps of polishing. 1 step is all we'll need. What pad are you choosing for this, Nick?
I'd probably choose the wool pad, Ivan. I haven't done a test spot. Isn't that what we'd recommend as a test spot, or what are you getting at?
Well, we can do a little test spot on the hood.
Ivan, from what I know about the gold standard polishing system, you can often 1 step with a wool pad and the gold standard polish.
Right.
Especially on light colored paints that DA haze folks might have heard about or experienced. It doesn't really affect the finish very much, so I'm gonna go for something aggressive enough with the wool pad. It'll probably finish out really nice. But I can see you have a less aggressive method, so talk to me about what you're doing over there.
Well, we're gonna do a test spot.
Okay.
You do yours with the wool.
Okay.
I'll do mine with the foam. We'll see if there's a difference. If there is, we'll go with the one that's better. If there isn't, we'll go with the least aggressive of the 2.
That makes sense.
What makes this fun as well is using the gold standard polish. I know that Nick doesn't have any more polish on his pad than I do because we each had 1 pull of this trigger. Speed 2 or 3? What are you at?
Speed 3?
Speed 3 it is. You can see the white paint coming off the panel.
Look at my black pad.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's caked up. So we're gonna have to do smaller section sizes because of that. Rinseless dampened towel to emulsify and break down the polish residue. And then a dry towel to buff it to a shine. Now, we'll be using Envy ceramic detail spray as a sealant on this, but just to show you the results without the sealant. It's a bit of a difference.
It's like night and day.
Yeah.
This is the line right here. Just follow this line. That's where we polished. Left, 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 left. That's where we that's where we didn't polish.
Yeah.
This is what it looked like after our decon. And that's what the paint looked like after the polish. So that is night and day. Now we'll have to go to Ivan's side to see if it looks the same. If it does, we use the less aggressive method, but because we know we have all this to go through, I kind of think wool is the move. Because my finish is great, but let's check out Ivan's side.
So with the oxidation, here we've got 91 microns. Here we have 92, so not a big deal. But just to show you how variable paint is, well, I've got 82 microns there. Got 85 there. Got 103 there. So even on a panel, you can't really rely on a paint thickness gauge as the be all and end all of this is the truth. Your paint thickness varies so much over a vehicle that really can't tell that much. But let's get this polished up, and the least aggressive method is as good as the most aggressive method. So there's no need to go to the wool to remove even more of this super thin paint. Off to the yellow pad we go. Now on the pad, you see all this accumulation of white chalk. When you're doing clear coat, you're getting as much buildup in your pad, it's just you don't see it, therefore you don't stress out about it. You need to clean your pads often. One spray of the gold standard, we carry on. Now you've seen us clean our pad more often than normal. That's because of all the oxidation we're pulling off this paint.
Exhibit A, just a yellow pad that looks white, which is very rare. I mean, I don't remember the last vehicle I did where my pad was turning white like this, so.
Right.
It's been a different kind of paint correction polish job, Ivan.
Right, and you know, we're using smaller section sizes because of that. Because we know we're removing oxidation. We removed a lot in the previous steps, and imagine if that oxidation were still there. We'd be doing one pass and cleaning our pads. And then with the Envy ceramic detail spray to lock in that gloss and shine. You can definitely already see a difference in this vehicle. Just about to get better. So if we look here, when we started, this back door was the best looking panel on the car because it had been repainted. We can see it's been repainted sometime in the past, we don't know when, but it's a slightly different color tone. Now, it's the most dull panel on the car. I still have to do this one, but now you can see a difference between this panel and everything around it. And we also polished the trim. So take a look at that B pillar.
Ivan, one word to describe this Nissan.
And that is?
Oh, I was gonna ask you, my word was transformed. I mean, it feels like this has absolutely been transformed. It doesn't seem like the same vehicle.
Right.
Up here, we've decontaminated and polished. Here, we haven't.
The back door, like I said before, that was the shiniest panel on the car is now the dullest panel on the car. We'll need to do that after we let you go. But in the meantime, there's another vehicle we transformed that was just covered in mud.
If you thought this vehicle was dirty, that one was even worse. And you can find that video right here.